Uh, Quick video here. I just got a bunch of stuff in the mail yesterday, and today I actually have a few hours to do some videos, so there's a lot of stuff I want to do, but we'll start with some of the smaller items. The first thing I wanted to cover is this Hatchbox 3D filament rack that I got off of Amazon for $9.99, $10 basically. And I just wanted a solution that I can mount to the wall once I actually have my printer positioned where I'd like to have it. And this is all metal construction, and it seemed like a really low price for what I was getting. So we'll go ahead and unbox it here and throw it together. We have a couple packages and some really basic self-explanatory instructions here. So we'll go ahead and throw it together. But I liked the general design of it from the photos that were available on Amazon. Like I said, because it's all metal, so I think it'll age well. Like, I think I'll have this for years. And you can see these are the main brackets. They have, I'll put that over my face so you can see the contrast. They have slotted mounting holes, so it should be relatively easy to mount this on my work station wall back here. So we've got two metal halves. I'll try not to crinkle this into the mic. Two metal halves, a nice little metal, it has my fingerprints all over it, nice little metal rod for the middle, two threaded knobs that go on either side, and they're nice injection molded pieces. They have the HB for Hatchbox and stuff on there, and some little rubber feet. I guess we'll go ahead and use those for now, because we won't actually be mounting this to the wall today. That'll be a little ways down the road and actually get everything positioned. But this is really basic. These threaded knobs just go in here, and it doesn't look like this has bearings or anything. Looks like this just this will be stationary, and the spool will mount around it. Now, one thing I don't love, I'll go ahead and grab this roll of filament out of here. I have it, I addressed that in another video. I have a damp basement, so I have to keep my filament sealed up with desiccant packs in there. One thing I don't love about this, that I knew before I bought it, is that you actually do have to take the sides off to put the roll on. But I don't think that's going to be the end of the world. So, screw one side in, put our roll on, and then we'll screw our other side on. Because I think the issue with that is going to be that if I do have it mounted, I'll only be able to mount one side tight. Like, I'll be able to screw maybe this left side down really tight to the wall, and then this other side will have to have a little bit of play in it so I can slide the slots up and pull it off of the screw so I can actually get this side off to get the filament roll in. But I guess we'll go ahead and throw, it just has little rubber feet that slide into the screw holes, or I guess press in. So we'll go ahead and pop those in so I'm not thumping around on the table with it. But you wouldn't have to mount this. That is the nice thing about having the little rubber feet. Like, you could just have this sitting behind your machine. I don't know if it'll be an issue to have the filament. I'll actually move the machine over here and we'll take a look at that. But I don't know if it'll be an issue or not to have this sitting beside the machine or behind it and having your filament go up over the kind of, I always call it the superstructure, because I used to work with cranes, but it's not really that. Just like the top structural piece. So there we go. We got a rubber feet on. But no, this is nice. It spins a lot smoother than the pieces that came with my printer. There's nothing wrong with these, but these mount on the top bar, and your filament roll just kind of sits between them. And one thing I didn't like is that these are so thin, or the diameter of the pieces that the roll spins on is so thin that it does allow the roll to rock quite a bit. Like, if you imagine the filament pulling down, it'll pull the roll forward on these pivots, and then it has a little bit of room to rock. And it hasn't caused any problems yet, but I don't think that's ideal. So we'll throw our box. That's a tiny little box. So there we have it. I know it's all dark in here. Hopefully everybody can see that, but no, this seems to be a nice little roll. We'll lose our mat too. But this seems to be a nice little roll. It's very firm sitting on the table. It spins good. If you look in one of the videos I did the other day, I warped the spool for this roll a little bit because before I had my Tupperware solution, this roll sucked up a little bit of moisture from my basement and was starting to have some extrusion problems. So I threw it in the oven really quick at a really low temperature, and I had it at like 180 Fahrenheit at first, and that was enough to soften the spool. It didn't damage the filament, but it did soften the spool a little bit, and it deformed. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a little wavy. Not the end of the world, but no, that seems to work well. The inner diameter of the thing that it's rotating on is a little bit thicker than the pieces that my printer came with, so it doesn't seem to rock, like I was saying, quite as bad. But I'll grab the printer here, and we'll kind of just like loosely root the... This is disconnected because I wanted to let my filament have some time off so it could sit and dry out a little bit. But you see, here we have our printer, and I don't know if it'll be an issue. There's the bed moved completely to the back, so we wouldn't want to be much closer than this. So it would end up being, I guess, something like that. I guess that's not ideal, because we'll have a little bit of friction here. So I don't know how useful this will be, kind of just sitting beside your printer. In chat here, Steve J asked, is the orange filament that you got a match for the parts on the printer? It seems to be. Let me grab a... I don't know if this is a good example. It seems to be. My camera kind of hates this orange. It's an issue I've had before. It depending on the print, I can see that these don't look like a match on the screen, but in person it's like almost an exact match, because this is the you get one roll of filament with the printer, and I got the orange, and it seems to be a really close match. I don't know if it's like a dead-on exact match, because I think this orange is a tiny bit creamier, if that's the right word. But no, for the most part, it's a really close match. I don't know if it's exactly the same, but it's close enough that when I do eventually print my replacement parts, I don't think it'll be an issue. I don't think anybody will be like, hey, that part doesn't match. But no, it seems really close. And like I said, the color changes a little bit. Like, there are some of the prints I did behind me that have really thin outer shells, and they're not quite as bold as some of the more solid parts. I don't know if you can tell a difference between these two on cam. I guess they do more or less look the same, but in person, like I can see my screen, in person they look closer than they do on the camera for some reason. I don't know why it registers these colors funny, but they're really close in person. And this is just the orange that came from Prusa, so... I did see, just today, if you join the Prusa Facebook group, someone linked what this filament is. I guess it comes from the Czech Republic also, or somewhere in Europe. But they linked what this filament actually is, so if I can find that, I'll post it in this video, so that link will be there in the future. But, yeah. So as far as sitting this beside the printer, maybe we can try beside it. I'm just trying to see if you can actually use this without any modifications or mounting it to the wall, because ultimately I'll end up having it more or less where the default spool holder was. Like, I'll more than likely have it on the wall behind the machine just like this, so it feeds right down into the print head without any, you know, extreme lengths to travel. But I would imagine if you have it, I don't know, let's say something like this. If you do have the space beside your machine, and just go something like this without too long to travel, I don't imagine that you'd have any problems. I mean, I guess you might. If your carriage is the whole way over here and trying to feed in, I guess you might have a little bit of a problem, but I don't really know without testing. And I got my dryland bearings in today, so I actually want to install those on the X and Y axis before I fire the print up and kind of get it back where this TV is going to be moved and the printer will be sitting there. But now overall, like I said, I don't know how good of a solution this will be if you're looking to have your filament sit beside or behind your printer. But like for me, with this being mounted on a wall above the printer, I think it's going to be fantastic. And like I said, it's all metal, so I think it'll last a while. And I think I'll still probably make some pieces. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. But see how there's a difference? The spool that this is on and the hole in the spool is not the same. So I'd really like to make some pieces that fit into these spools, because I think these are fairly standard size holes, and go ahead and have bearings on them, just to completely eliminate the possibility of any problems. So I guess that'll be a sizable bearing, but we'll get a bearing that'll fit on here and then fit on the inside of the pieces that I print. So this will be centered all the time, won't do anything weird, it won't wiggle around, do any shifting or anything like that. And just completely eliminate any problems that might be caused by there being some tension on the filament. So, might be a little while till I actually get to that, but I do want to do that in the future, so keep an eye out for that. Because any of the files I make, I'll share. I don't know if Thingiverse is the best place to put them, but I might just put them up there because it's one of the sites that everybody's familiar with. And we have a question here. Keep them coming. Has that one roll done all of your printing so far? Yeah, there are quite a few hours on this roll, and I would say, let me weigh it quick. I don't know if when you buy this that the 1 kilogram includes the roll or not, but I'll just give you a rough idea of what's left on here. There's 1.4 pounds left on here. If you can see from the side, I would say the roll is still 3/4 of an inch thick on the center spool. So yeah, I've got a lot of prints out of this. Like this thing here, this was like a 27-hour print, and I think I could probably print 3, 4, maybe even 5 more of these off of that roll there. So they seem to go a long way if you don't have an extreme amount of infill or print anything solid. But same with these. I did all the really long test prints. The castle was the longest, because this thing's kind of heavy. Yeah, the castle weighs 4 ounces, which I know it doesn't sound like that much, but when it's just filament, that's a hefty little piece. But that's pretty much all for this little video. I just wanted to pop this out of the box and throw it together quick so people could see. Because I did already put the link in the video. $10 just seems like such a small investment for something like this. I mean, you could even get multiple ones, and I think they make ones that hold more than one roll of filament. But since I have the dampness problem in my basement, I'm going to have to keep my filament rolls cycling. I did get a roll of gunmetal gray. It's just kind of a dark gray. So from here on out, I'll probably be printing with this for a day, print something in the orange for a day, and then switch back and forth. So while I'm not using them, I can keep them in my Tupperware containers to try to draw some of the moisture back out that it might be picking up. But But yeah, so that's the little Hatchbox all metal single spool 3D print filament holder for $10. Like I said, I couldn't make this for $10. So I had been wanting to kind of come up with my own solutions for mounting filament on the wall, but this was just such an easy way to avoid any work on my part or having to lay any files out. So I'm sure this might work for someone else too. But that's all for now. I'm going to drop the stream for a few minutes and clean some of this stuff up and then come back and do another video. I'd like to do... I want to share these Tupperware containers because spool rolls fit in them perfectly, and I'm sure that can help some of the other people that are having problems with filament sucking up moisture. And I also want to try to get to... I want to install my... I got the Dryland bearings that replace the linear bearings in the X and Y axis that people have been talking about. So I want to go ahead and install them today on stream and see how that goes. Because I think if you wouldn't be smart about it, you could end up doing a lot of disassembly of your machine that you really don't need to. So I'm going to try to do it as intelligently as I can. Maybe try to save some other people some time and frustration. So like I said, I'm going to take maybe 10 minutes here. Shift some stuff around and come back and I guess just do the Tupperware and desiccant stuff real quick because I had some people asking about exactly what those containers were. So I'll just drop the stream so it puts it in a separate video. And if anybody's wondering, I keep saying this because people keep asking. For the time being, I'm just streaming all this so I don't have to record it and edit and upload and do all that stuff because I really don't have the time because of some real life things that are going on. So just bear with me. I don't think these streams are bad. I mean, some people might actually prefer them because it's not all scripted and whatever. But yeah, thanks guys for stopping in. And like I said, I'll be back in about 10 minutes to do some of the other things that I want to cover today. So thanks for stopping by.